So I haven't done any of my stupid vlogs in a while, so I thought I'd do another one. First off, I want to say that these vlogs are intentionally frivolous. I guess I just kind of feel like if I'm going to mostly be talking about really stupid things that are just happening to me in my regular life that are extremely small scale irritations, trying to talk about anything serious would just wind up sounding insulting. So that's why the lack of commentary about any current events. Obviously, I support Black Lives Matter, but I feel like even mentioning it and then going on to do a bunch of stupid reviews of masks kind of makes me look insensitive. So, yeah. Anyways, I have some masks. I think it's been so long since I did a review that I did not even have any masks except for my Vogue mask, which I think I mentioned you shouldn't wear a Vogue mask if it has an exhalation valve because it does not protect people from your droplets. I did find out that Vogue Mask has started to make masks without valves, which I'll probably get at some point. I think at this point since I've tried a few different types of masks, I do think that there are a lot of masks that are easier to breathe in than Vogue masks, like they're not as thick, but I do find that like Vogue masks were the ones that had like the best nose piece and like fit the nicest on my face of the ones that I've gotten. So here in San Francisco, for a while, we've had a rule that you have to wear a mask in businesses and on public transit and a lot of other places. And now they've made the rule very strict. Although, like, I guess I find it a little frustrating. I think that we have this really detailed set of frequently asked questions that is always being updated that's on the Department of Health website, and like a lot of the time they'll make new orders about what we're supposed to be doing, and it'll usually be reported in some really generalized way in the media, and then like if you read the frequently asked questions, it's usually a lot more reasonable than it's being reported. Basically, I'm frustrated, a little bit frustrated, because I know that some people with a disability can't wear masks, and actually under our order, like several groups of people with disabilities are like specifically exempted from needing to wear masks, but there's also some people who just can't keep a mask on, who just like maybe don't understand or can't resist the impulse to take it off. And previously, when like there was just the rule that if you weren't wearing a mask you couldn't go into businesses and stuff like that, it was somewhat more possible to live as a person like that. But at this point, they basically made a rule where supposedly the purpose of the rule is that if you're getting close to someone, you should be wearing a mask. But apparently, in order to make it so that you have time to put a mask on before you're close to someone, that's what it says in the frequently asked questions. The rule is supposed to be that when you're 30 feet away from someone, you're supposed to be wearing a mask. So this kind of makes it hard to figure out like what you should do if you have like a family member who can't wear a mask, or if you can't wear a mask. And especially even if you have like one of the specific disabilities that they give is like an exemption, the way that it's being reported and like the way that it's like being described on signage like doesn't usually mention that there are exemptions. So like, you know, even people who like are allowed to not wear a mask like are going to be met with negative reactions from other people who think that they're breaking the rules. I mean, we're fortunate this isn't the case. We really thought that my client wouldn't be able to learn to wear a mask, which she actually has, which is great. But some people just can't wear one, and I guess it's just kind of frustrating. I feel like a lot of the time when like new policies and rules are enacted, it takes a long time to like acknowledge that people with disabilities and different needs exist, you know? And so like it's really frustrating because there are some people where it's kind of like there's no way that they're technically allowed to go outside, and it's just not really being addressed as much as I would like. And then even when it's addressed in like the granularities of the rules, like it's still reported in the media as like everyone has to wear a mask, and like, you know, obviously people are going around the next door being like, oh my gosh, I saw someone walk by my house and they weren't wearing a mask. Well, genius, like if they were walking by and no one else was there, then they weren't required to wear a mask. And then I'm a bit like irked because I think I mentioned that they suspended like the majority of like bus routes and train routes in my city, so I'm not able to commute to work. And obviously I've been living at work, but I've been going home like occasionally on weekends and stuff, just because it's nice to be able to be on my own. And I would like to be able to return home, but I am not because of all the suspended bus routes, meaning that there's basically no way for me to commute. So if I want to go home, which I do like once a week, I just need to like walk home. So it's like 2 miles, which isn't super bad or anything, but it's getting a bit hot and it's just like a very hilly walk. Like there's no way to avoid doing that. And I don't know how other people feel about this type of thing, because I do see people exercising and like running with masks on, but like I'm somebody who gets short of breath pretty easily, and it's like really difficult for me to like basically hike around with a mask on. And yeah, I guess it's a little frustrating because when the rules were less strict, it was like kind of easier for me to deal with being somebody who couldn't deal with wearing a mask in this situation. Like I would just, walk in areas where there weren't as many people, and I could always stay like 6 feet away from people, pretty easily walking in those types of areas. But now when there's like the 30-foot rule, it makes it really difficult to try to find any way that I can like walk home, which I have to do because they've suspended the public transit. Yeah, so it's frustrating. I'm quite frustrated by the transit thing, because there's just um, not much information being put out about like when that's going to improve, or like what their plans are about it. And it's kind of like, I don't really understand what you expect people to do if they can't go to work. Um, yeah, we have had sort of like, we've been given guidelines for like when things are supposed to start opening up, which is going to be quite slow. But I mean, that's a good thing. I feel worried about people living in other places in the US that are opening too quickly, but I mean, it really sucks. There's no way that I can act like that's okay. It's quite dangerous. Yeah, anyway, mask reviews. I've already reviewed my Vogue mask. It's not safe, but it fits nicely. These were the first masks that I bought. I bought them from, I'm not gonna keep it on while I'm talking because I think it will be hard to understand me. I bought these from an Etsy store that mostly kind of pivoted from selling bandanas for dogs and stuff like that to making masks. I think they're called Woof, Sniff, and Wag Company or something like that. So I guess probably the worst thing about this is that it's like really, really thick and thick fabric, and it's like 2 or 3 layers of fabric, so it just gets like very hot in there. Yeah, that's the worst thing about it. I feel like it fits nicely. It has a nose piece. And also, I did find out that I was a bit stressed about like how can I like take off my mask and put it on quickly. But I finally realized after like a month or two, during which I should have realized this before, that if I'm just walking around wearing headphones, I can sort of have it dangling from an ear and it's like secured by my headphone. So then it's very easy. I don't know why I didn't figure that out before. This is one mask. These are being sold at liquor stores and convenience stores. This is when I drew on it with a fabric marker for my client's birthday, because these are the ones that she normally wears. And I honestly think that they fit her well because she has a very long nose, but I don't have so much nose and I don't find it very comfortable. I honestly feel like I don't have the nose to fill it out, but it's quite a bit more breathable, and it doesn't have a nose piece, but because the shape, it goes well over your nose if you actually have a nose, which I don't. I'm noseless. I just got these today and I ordered them from a different Etsy store, which is called Material Objects. I guess I just wanted to get some more because I only had 4 masks, and yeah, I just wanted to have a few more so that I could kind of go longer without wearing them, and hopefully they'd be a bit cleaner. Although I guess at this point it seems like they're kind of discovering that surfaces aren't that dangerous, so I don't know, maybe it isn't that important after all. Regardless, I now have somewhat more masks than I did. I got this because I could see from looking at the site that it was a lot thinner and more breathable and just looked really soft and comfortable. However, I mean, talking about my face, I pretty much look like the witch in The Wizard of Oz with prosthetics on. Like, I have an extremely long, like, jaw and chin, so you would think that like this mask, which is extremely long, would fit, but it's like even longer than my actual faces. Like, I don't know who, and then like the other ones are even longer somehow. Like, I don't know who this was intended for, but like it's very, very long. Like, I sort of have a theory that it was intended as like a sleep mask or a blindfold or something, and then they pivoted to just saying that they were like masks. Um, anyway, I'm glad I got them because they are a lot more breathable. So, in situations where I'm like hiking up a hill and it's really hot and I can't avoid people, they will be good to have. However, the other ones actually fit a lot more securely and yeah, don't aren't like twice the size of my face. Those are my mask reviews. Um, Generally, I feel like it's good to wear a mask if you can, but I'm really not keen on people being judgmental about masks and when other people wear masks. Um, I mean, I guess it's kind of a regional thing. Like, I think if you live somewhere where like no one is taking masks seriously and people are being aggressive about being asked to wear masks in stores, you would probably have a different perspective. But I guess I just feel like here people can be quite hostile to other people who aren't able to wear a mask, or just like, I don't know, I just feel like there's like a lot of like really intense mask policing and I just don't really like it. I feel like it kind of sucks. Um, that's about all I have to report. I would say that like tensions are running somewhat high at work. It's not that bad, it's just that like, you know, as you probably know, the person that I support can't talk. So, you know, to a degree, everybody who takes care of her kind of has to guess like what activities she might like to do and stuff like that. And like it's just kind of hard because her mom and dad and I are just together like all the time. So like whenever anyone tries to do anything with her, like the other person is like, oh, don't you think she would rather do this? Don't you think you should do this? Like, don't you think this is better? And it's just like, because we're always together, like things that we would normally just decide on our own, like everyone is there and like has an opinion about like what everyone else should be doing. And like the apartment is like shrinking, and so that's quite irritating. Although, I mean, all things considered, I've just been extremely lucky in every way. That's about that. I hope that someone enjoys my vlog, but if not, I enjoyed venting and reviewing my masks.